Say any of what the nipa etwa ye ho ahia so eye Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo na odi ato Ghana mabru nyina anim say wo mo emmo Ghana ban achi dom na 2022 budget no a ye kenkan ye no yentumi enjintum na sa budget we no eye agenkwa budget ya ebeboa abayi Ghana afri amna donko a COVID-19 ede en ekomu no eho.
The Speaker had this to say about the global economy, and I quote, "World economic activity in 2020 was around 6.5% less than it would have been had there not been a pandemic. Instead of the global economy growing by 3% as expected, it shrunk by 3.5% in the biggest annual contraction since the Second World War. In the biggest economies alone, the IMF predicts further job losses of 25 million in 2021 and 20 million in 2022, end quote. Mr. Speaker, I give all these statistics to establish the point that this budget statement and economic policy presented to this House by President Akufo-Addo seeks to give solutions in dealing with the Ghanaian peculiar situation which has arisen out of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in all parts of this budget and on all accounts, this budget clearly, if this House were to support it, will indeed offer the Ghanaian people this recovery and unleash the jobs for the youth and prosperity for the good people of this country. Mr. Speaker, already, out of the efforts of President Akufo-Addo, the economy is recovering. The economy is recovering. Mr. Speaker, just two days ago, specifically on Monday, 22nd November 2021, the Bank of Ghana reported in its updated Composite Index Economic Activity that annual growth rate in September 2021 was 11.2% compared to 10.8% in 2020 and 4.2% in 2019, a sign of a sustained recovery from the global pandemic. Mr. Speaker, that is a clear indication that the measures being taken by President Akufo-Addo and his government is leading to recovery of the national economy. And I call on this House to support this budget, and I call on the country to support this budget. I call on the youth of this country to support this budget, because this budget, the Speaker, this Ajinkwa budget is the budget that will pull this country out of the doldrums. Mr. Speaker, there's been a lot of debate in this House. There's been a lot of political scoring and propaganda in this House. But Mr. Speaker, let me put before the House just one statistic, and this is not my statistic. This is statistics from the Ghana Statistical Service. Mr. Speaker, and to appreciate these data, I refer the House to page 32 of the budget before us, figure 1. And there, Mr. Speaker, you will find that in 2014, GDP growth was 2.9%. In 2015, it was 2.1%. In 2016, it was 3.4%, which is the best. Mr. Speaker, today, in spite of all the difficulties our national economy has undergone, in spite of the disruption in global supply chain, in spite of the fact that even developed industrialized countries are struggling, today in 2021, the GDP growth as of today stands at 3.5%. Mr. Speaker, in 2014, there was no pandemic, there was no crisis. In 2015, there was no pandemic, there was no crisis. In 2016, there was no pandemic, there was no crisis. And yet, the best GDP growth our opponents called in 2016, which is 3.4%, today in 2021, with a pandemic, with a global economic crunch, we are growing at 3.5%. Our worst was their best. Yeah.